Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking to you about conducting your usability tests over Zoom. So I'm here on the Zoom website, and this is just the page that it takes you to when you first navigate to the site. So you're going to want to log into your account, and I'm already logged in. And so, what I would recommend you do when you're conducting your usability tests is once you've talked to your participants and set up a time that works for both of you for the usability test, I would actually schedule a meeting. And you can just start a meeting just whenever you guys decide to do it. But if you schedule a meeting and just, name it usability test, and then you can maybe put the person's name at the end, whatever, and then you can pick a date. Let's say I'm doing it on December 27th. And then you can pick a time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can just leave this at 1 hour, since our sessions are about 45 minutes. And then you can, set these settings to whatever you want, and then save it, and then you can, copy the invitation if you need to email the participant. And if you do that, and if you send an invitation to the participants that you're choosing to use, of course you're going to be probably conducting these, hopefully not at the same time, one at a time. But if you send a Zoom link to each of your participants for their respective times, then sometimes, people get busy, and if they've got an email in there sitting in there with the Zoom invite, then, they may be less likely to forget. I mean, if you see them a lot, then probably not. But it's just a good professional practice, that I'd say, to create a dedicated meeting just for the usability test. But you don't have to. But that's something that will maybe help you in case your participant might forget, or if it's, if you're scheduling really far in advance, then they can add it to their calendar once they get the invite. You can add it to your calendar so that you don't forget. So that would be how I would recommend doing it, but you don't have to. You can just start an impromptu meeting too. It's whatever you prefer. And then when you start your meeting, you can do your thing, and I'm just gonna kind of show you here. And you can conduct your meeting here, and you're going to want to make sure down here where the microphone is, you're going to want to make sure that, when you're talking, the meter for the sound is moving, so that you know that you're being recorded, your voice is being recorded. You're going to want to make sure that you can hear your participant clearly. And you can open the meeting and, kind of make sure everything's working. And then after you've made sure everything's working, the sound's working properly, that is the point when I would recommend you starting your record your meeting. I wouldn't start
recording in progress.
I wouldn't start recording all the way, or right away. And then once your recording is started, you can begin your usability test. You're probably going to begin by reading off of your moderator script. The nice thing about conducting this usability test over Zoom is it may not be quite as awkward to be reading off of a script, because your camera will probably be on, but if you've got your script on your computer and just open it in Microsoft Word or something, you don't necessarily have to make it quite as obvious that you're reading off of a script. And of course you're going to be trying to make it sound pretty natural and conversational, but you're probably going to start by reading your moderator script. And then part of your moderator script probably will be at some point asking them to turn on their screen sharing and navigating to the website. And then once they turn on their screen sharing, you're going to want to, make sure you can see everything that's happening. And you can do it one of two ways. You can either read the tasks to your participant as they complete them, or you can give them a list or a few note cards and they just move on to the next one on their own and read it out loud when they move on to the next task. Personally, I feel like you have a little bit more control if you read the tasks to them. If they start to get off track, you can say, hey, you know, maybe we should move on to the next task. And it just gives you a little more control over the situation. But you can have them read the tasks as they go. Then you don't have to worry about it. They can just move on when they are ready. It's really up to you. And the nice thing is, if you are doing your Zoom and something starts to go wrong, you're having a technical difficulty or something, you don't necessarily want to have, 10 minutes of you trying to figure out why the sound's not working or something like that. You can just pause your recording down
Recording
here
stopped.
and have it paused, and it'll say up here that it's paused. And then while you figure out what's wrong with the sound or whatever it may be, you can have it paused. And then when you're ready, you can just click play again down here. And I'm not going to because it's going to tell me that the recording's starting again. So that's kind of a neat thing. You don't necessarily have to have your technical difficulties on video. If you start to have a sound problem or anything like that, you can just pause. And then you don't have to edit that out later or whatever. So that's kind of nice. And you're going to want to record, of course, your entire usability tests from script through the last test. And if you have any post-test questions that you're going to ask, you're going to want to record that too. And then you can sign out off of your Zoom and end your meeting. And then be done. And it'll give you this converting your meeting, and you can save it wherever you want to save that. I'm not going to save mine. And then that is how you can conduct your Zoom test. And you're going to do that with all 3 of your participants. So I hope that this video was a little bit helpful to you. Many of you probably have used Zoom for other classes or for business things, or maybe even with your family. But I hope this was helpful to you and kind of gave you an idea of where to start when you start your Zoom meeting. So that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and good luck on conducting your usability tests.